Hi everyone, it's Sharon here from Butterfly Lullaby, and the date is the 23rd of February 2021, and I wanted to share with you my really exciting project with Japanese knotweed. Just recently, well it was last year, I decided to have a go at growing sunflower microgreens in Japanese knotweed stalks, and they turned out really well. And the thing that I love about this is that if you didn't know, Japanese knotweed has the highest resveratrol anti-aging properties of all plants in the world. It's an amazing plant, and if you search Google for resveratrol, you'll find that Japanese knotweed is the main component. They do use grapes, but Japanese knotweed is used the most, and it's used in all cosmetics as well, for anti-aging. So if you'd like me to make a video about how to grow microgreens and Japanese knotweed, then please do leave a comment below. I'd love to make one for you, but I'd like to get people interested first before I spend my time on that. I used to put my own organic Japanese knotweed in my smoothies daily, and I felt amazing. I was getting up at 5 o'clock in the morning. I had so much energy, and I had no asthma. It cured my asthma with other plants. So I got an email from a lady in America who's a herbalist, and now we are the best of friends. We are Japanese knotweed friends. She asked me to send her some of my once organic Japanese knotweed, which I did, and I didn't send her the roots. I sent her the stalks for medicine, or I suppose you're not allowed to say that, herbal remedies or whatever you want to call it. So anyway, that was a few years ago now, and we have just become the best of friends. She's now growing this plant in her garden, and she doesn't care if it devalues her property in the USA. She's allowed to have it in her garden. She's checked with her neighbours, and they're all fine with it. So she's got a massive garden. It's really not going to affect anybody. And also, if you keep it away from the fences, it doesn't travel to your neighbour's garden. That's all you've got to do. But people are too scared in the UK to cut it down. And the other thing is that, if you research properly, you'll find that the dried stalks do not regrow. When they're dead and they've dried, they don't regrow. So I don't really understand what the big hoo-ha is about it. And in the USA, all they do is cut it down. They mow it down where she lives. They don't use pesticides, and they use this plant to make sure that banks don't fall down. So they grow the knotweed in the banks to stop it collapsing. So I think we need to rethink things in the UK, and I'd love support and help to do that. Well, I found this website where it stated very clearly that once the stems dried out, they die and cannot regenerate. I really need support from people. If you could share this video and help me, I'd really appreciate it, because I need a certificate from an insurance company stating that the Japanese knotweed dried stems, dead dried stems, do not regenerate. That's all I need, or from a science lab, etc. Just so that I can make some Japanese knotweed soaps at our local church in their kitchen to help feed the poor families. So what I want to do is I've got 3 different soaps. I've got the bee soaps, which I want to help save the bees, but also trade the soaps for food to feed families that are struggling. I mean, I know what it's like to struggle financially, so I have a lot of empathy and compassion for these families, and I'd like to help them. That's the problem, you see. I think with some people that are in power, that have never had to financially struggle, it's all right for them to go around destroying small business with all these lockdowns because they don't know what it's like to have no money. And also, these small businesses, I really believe that a lot of these small businesses are built up by people that struggled with our school system. There could be a lot of dyslexics out there that just couldn't take exams, or people that just couldn't take exams. So they've actually built their life up, they put their life savings into their small business. I was talking to my friend a few years ago, who I thought did really well in school, because she went to a different school to me and she was quite high up. But she told me that she struggled with exams, and she said that her daughter is struggling, but she's got this amazing small business down in Hastings. And it just breaks my heart to know that she's losing money from it because she can't open her shop. It just doesn't make any sense to me. So anyway, I'm going off on a tangent there, but it's just something that's really just makes my blood boil. I just think that it's just one rule for the rich and one for the poor, if you might say. And let's take example of Prince Charles. He's allowed to go and see his dad, but us little plebs, we're not allowed to go and visit our old relatives in the care homes. We're not allowed to go and see our families that are suffering in hospital. No, but Prince Charles can see his dad. Yeah. If people don't wake up by now, there's something wrong. So anyway, with these soaps, with the bee soaps, as I said, I want to actually, help feed poor families, trade these soaps for food, good food, and some nice organic food if I can get hold of it. And also with the bee soaps, as a parent, surely do you not look at these films and say, what the heck, this is not child and family friendly? The stuff they're putting in it, they're absolutely, these elites, some of them are just absolutely bonkers and they've got no morals or values. So I want to use the bee soaps to support family and child friendly entertainment and arts. So art, music, film, I want to make that. I want to become massive as a team player and actually take over from these bad people and create some really, really good content for our children and families, because we need it. And also with the leaf soaps, I want to protect our herbal remedies, because these elites think they can go and poison Japanese knotweed, which is a herbal remedy. It's used by herbalists to cure Lyme disease, and it's I've used it to cure my lung health. It has got rid of the phlegm. I've got no phlegm for once in my life, and I'm living with a dog. I'd never ever believe that I'd be able to live with a dog, because I've always been allergic to dogs, cats, rabbits. We had rabbits and my daughter couldn't feed the rabbits. I had to do it, but then I was taking my own Japanese knotweed from my garden and put it in my smoothie, and I was okay. I was asthma free for a long time until my new neighbour, and sadly it's not his fault, I don't blame him, it's the banks and the media that scaremongered him into using a dangerous chemical company. So he used that company to get rid of his knotweed, which was coming into our garden under the fence. And that's why I'm so upset, It's the fact that his knotweed was coming into our garden, yet I've had to put up with this dangerous pesticide stuff and can't use my own organic knotweed now. And it's not going into Frank's garden next door because I keep it away from the fences. Yeah, and also when I was picking the knotweed sort of near that area where it had been treated, I ended up having an asthma attack and I couldn't breathe and I came inside wheezing, and my daughter thought that was very strange because I'd not had to order inhalers for such a long time. I've been off the inhalers for such a long time, and she's like, oh my gosh, you better get to the doctor's, mum. So I went to the doctor's, we walked down there, and the doctor thought I'd have to go into hospital. I mean, this is the first time I've ever had to go on the nebulizer, and I've lived here for 18 years. What does that tell you? So, please, I mean, I've looked it up. These pesticides are so bad for our lung health. And I can put a link in the description, or I'll do a different video about that. So, yeah, please don't put that muck in your garden. That man from America won against Monsanto because he was using Roundup as part of his job. I mean, he's ended up with cancer. He's dying now. So don't put that stuff in your garden, not around your kids, your pets, and you. We need to live a long life to look after our kids. So this is something I typed up for my wonderful herbalist friend. We're friends now. Friends with Japanese Knotweed, how funny. She didn't get the funding, unfortunately. She was, she needed some funding for what she's doing, and yeah, I was trying to help her, but I suppose maybe they didn't like what I wrote. I don't know. I hope not. I hope she didn't get it because of me. But anyway, I'm going to try and help her as much as possible because we need herbalists. We really do. Now, I've found that plants have been my true medicine, not the chemical stuff. My friend's an ex-nurse, by the way, and she wanted me off the inhalers. And I'm not telling people to go off their inhalers. If they need it, they must take it. And I have done that in past. If I've needed it, I will take it. But if I don't need it, I'm absolutely free. That's for me. But I want people to be careful. I don't want them dying, especially with COVID, etc. Yeah, but for me, I feel fantastic. I'm drug and asthma free now, and I just absolutely love it. And there's no drug that they're going to pump me with. I don't care how much they bully. I don't want anything now because my body is actually working. I've got an immune system. Hooray! So here's the back garden where the knotweed was. I've just been cutting it back and keeping it away from the fence, whereas my new neighbour used, that pesticide company, as I told you about. And they say that, the bluebells can't come through when you've got Japanese knotweed there. That's an absolute lie. Look, they're thriving. All I did was cut it back. I didn't use any pesticides, just cut it back, and the bluebells are there. So, yeah, I mean, I'd love to talk to people about this. So please do leave comments below. There are so many things we can do with this plant. I mean, I sent my soaps off to Oxford Buyer. I had to pay £180. I mean, really, I shouldn't have to be paying that for two reasons. One, because, I'm not making my own soap base. I'm using a natural organic soap base that's already been tested, and I'm only adding knotweed and not face oil, coconut oil, organic coconut oil, just 3 components. And, they've all been tested to be safe anyway. So why am I paying £180? That's what I want to know. Even my friend that's herbalist said, this doesn't seem right. Why are you paying that money? She's not having to do that overseas in the USA for making soaps. This is the thing. They put all these rules and regulations up to prevent small business. It's all done so that, small business cannot survive and the big corporate companies do. It's a very unfair system. So what else can we do? So you can make face oil. I mean, I use Japanese knotweed face oil all the time. I wouldn't use anything else. And Chris from Nana's Naturals, she makes a lovely one as well. And then we've got soaps, of course. I mean, I've used Japanese knotweed as a bath soak when I hurt my I think I tore my shoulder. and it was really, really painful. And the only thing that helped was a hot bath with Japanese knotweed, and it really did. I felt like I was sort of bathing in nature, and it's just so soothing. I was just massaging my shoulder in the bath, and it really, really helped. You know, I put it in my smoothie. I have a Japanese knotweed smoothie, thanks to Chris, because I couldn't use my own Japanese knotweed now. She sent me some dried Japanese knotweed stems, which I put half a teaspoon in my smoothie daily, and it keeps my lung health really good, and you know, asthma free, etc. Tea, Itadori tea. You've got honey, but the thing with honey, I'm sort of like in two minds with honey. I've heard that, you know, beekeepers cull their bees once a year, and they're feeding them sugary water, which is destroying their immune system. So I'd love to come across some beekeepers that do actually look after their bees and give them their honey, their own honey that they've, you know, foraged for, to look after them properly. Because, you know, can you imagine going out foraging for all that food, and then some big giant comes in, puts his hand in, takes all your food that you can't feed your family with? It's quite mean, isn't it, really, when you think about it? Yeah, I mean, I have eaten honey, so I'm no saint there. But I think I'm going to rethink things and maybe just do a bit more investigating into it. And then there is a jet bamboo honey, by the way, which is, you know, the bees, it's very dark in colour. It's completely different to the other honeys. So it just proves how important Japanese knotweed is when it flowers, because the bees do use it. What else have we got? Chutney, resveratrol medicine, you know, being used by herbalists to cure Lyme disease. You know, I think some people using it for cancer, etc. Green electricity. I mean, overseas they're creating experiments using invasive plants to create green electricity. And I spoke to one scientist, and he said, yeah, he thinks that Japanese knotweed would be a good one to do that with. So I think I'd love to do an experiment with this. So if there's anybody out there that would love to help, please do get in contact with me. Paper. Overseas they're making paper with Japanese knotweed, saving our trees. But I mean, like, in the UK, we're meant to be one of the most intelligent countries in the world. Well, some of the elites like to think so anyway. I think that's quite obnoxious, really. But you know what I mean? The way they've sort of gone over to different countries, taken over different countries in the past. So they obviously think that they're the best. But yet, they're like the worst for using pesticides. Doesn't make any sense, does it? Something's going on. Bamboo clothing. Yeah, they're using bamboo to create clothing. Why are they using Japanese knotweed? You know, flutes. I've seen a wonderful video on YouTube of a gentleman that's made a fantastic Japanese knotweed flute, and the way he plays it is absolutely beautiful. I'd love to learn to play the flute, a Japanese knotweed flute. I really would. So if anybody can make me one, that would be absolutely awesome. And if you can teach me how to play it, I'd love it. Did you know that Lego are using sugarcane to create Lego bricks? How fantastic is that? But I really believe that they could use Japanese knotweed, because if they're using sugarcane, Japanese knotweed is a cane. So I really think this could be possible, and then it would stop. I mean, at the moment, like in the park, it really breaks my heart because they've used so much pesticides in the park to get rid of Japanese knotweed when it's a useful plant and it could be used for paper making, you know, for making Lego bricks, etc. You know, herbal remedies, you know, all the things I've mentioned here, yet they are using pesticides in our park. It doesn't make any sense. And near our schools and near our gardens, you know, if we don't stand up and sort of like say, no, enough's enough, they're going to keep doing this. Why are we making Monsanto rich? They are just the most meanest, horriblest country in the world that don't care about our children, our pets, our bees, our planet. What they care about is their profit. I mean, please stop making them rich. So here's the company overseas that is making Japanese knotweed paper commercially. why are we not doing this in the UK? So it's something that we've really got to start thinking about. And I think that, our governments get paid by the taxpayer. This money should be used to invest in protecting the taxpayer and creating business, not promoting Monsanto. And also here's some Japanese knotweed art that I've done on Japanese knotweed paper. And I've made quite a few pieces of Japanese knotweed paper. And what I want to do is I want to find artists all around the world to help me stop pesticides as a team player. So if you've got any art of butterflies, bees, wasps even, moths, all the pollinators, I'd love to showcase it and showcase you, share your website link to people so that people can go and check out your art. So do send it to me. You'll see a link below to my gardening group so you can share it on there. And, if there's any gardeners out there that have taken photographs of flowers that are good for the bees, or, taking photographs of the bees on the flowers or the pollinators on the flowers, etc. I'd love to see those pictures and, share them and share your gardening group, with everybody. So, yeah, I think it's important for me to be a team player. I don't care about how many people go on my YouTube channel. I'm all about sort of being a team player, trying to collaborate with other people and just, not taking myself too seriously, if you know what I mean. I'm not competitive at all. I do agree with sort of like sharing is caring for me. And I love promoting people. That's something that's really, really important to me. I think that's why I'm home educated, because I really wanted to help my daughter succeed when she was in school and she couldn't read, write, or spell. I took matters in my own hands, and now she's a bookworm. And I'm really hoping that she's going to be able to get a qualification in English in creative writing, because that's what she's really good at. She's really good with words. And she's really good at making songs up, creating her own lyrics, etc. And she's good at art. She's good at all these things. She's a creative audiovisual person like me. I mean, you probably notice that I get my words all muddled up sometimes. That's part of my dyslexia. But the good thing about dyslexia is that we are problem solvers, and that's on the NHS website. We are problem solvers, and that's what I see, you see. I see all these problems, and I know how to fix it, because that's how my mind works. I can see the problems, say, look, this is how we fix it, and we do it as a team. So, yeah, I'd love to have a team. I don't have a penny to my name because I put all my energy into my daughter. But I'd love to work with people just to save our planet for our kids. Don't our children deserve that? I think they do. Because if we leave it in the hands of these powerful people that have all this money, that don't care about us, that don't care about our planet, our poor children, they're not going to have a very nice future. They need their freedom back. So yeah, I'd love to talk to people, and yeah, let's make some changes. So I'm going to leave you a little bit of music, and at the end there's some details of how to contact me, and I'll put the contact details in the link. I'm just so passionate about helping our kids, and so I hope that you are too. And I love the word mother and father because it means so much to me. I'm sure it means a lot to you too. Have a wonderful day.